second base player Ravian Bryant in the batter's box for the Tars. And the count 1-0 to her. Pitch from Galehouse and looked at for strike one. You see a little bit of a breeze if you look at the palm trees all the way out behind the outfield fence. And the Spartans happy to be wearing their white uniform tops this afternoon in the sun. It was a hot one here last night, and UT was in all black. And so this afternoon, a different look for both teams as the Tars are in the dark uniforms. 2-1 from Galehouse. That's going to be ball 3. Bryant hitting .375 this season. And strike 2 to her. Bryant with 3 home runs, 23 RBI, and a .429 on-base percentage. Next pitch to her, swung on and fielded at short by Ballmer, over to first to Jansen in time for out number 2. So Ravian Bryant on the 3-2 pitch is retired. And that will bring up the catcher Chelsea Peace. First pitch goes for a base hit to the center field as it's fielded there by Lily Keister and thrown in, and Peace is aboard as the first base runner of the game. So we'll not only see the cleanup hitter, but today's starting pitcher for Rollins, which is Ashley Warrell. And here's Galhouse's first offering to her, and that's going to be strike 1. Warrell hitting .277 this season. Next pitch, strike 2. Warrell with 2 home runs, 18 RBI, and a .312 on-base percentage. And last night we saw her pitch a complete game one-hitter in that first game victory, as you see her go down on 3 consecutive pitches for the third out in the top of the first. So the Tars, no runs on 1 hit. There were no Spartan errors, and nobody left on base for the visitors. And we'll be back with the bottom of the first.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
College sports.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
A return to normal, and all we love about sports.
You've instilled resilience, focus, and selflessness in us. We've put those lessons to work.
We've found strength and unity in each other.
You continue to take us places we never imagined.
You bring out the best in us.
So when we look forward, we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We see a better world for all of us and for college sports.
Back live and ready for the bottom of the first inning. Leading off for UT will be Lauren Fanton, the Spartans' left fielder. Fanton has played in all 45 of UT's games in 2022. A .307 batting average. 12 runs batted in. And leads the team in triples with 3. Stepping in here to face Ashley Warrell, and her first offering is strike 1. Warrell checks the wristband, leans back, delivers, and Fanton looks at that one for ball 1. So 1-1 to Lauren Fanton here in the bottom of the first. And that one's outside for ball 2. The 2-1 to Fanton. Swung on, and that's going to be a base hit as it falls into left field, and the leadoff hitter aboard for the Spartans. And a big game for both teams. A lot on the line here. Whoever wins this game will be the co-regular season Sunshine State Conference champion with Nova Southeastern. So it's the last game of the season and a lot to play for both of these teams. Throw down to first, and Fanton is safe. The batter is Lily Keister, Spartans center fielder. And the 0-1 to Keister. Bunt and fielded nicely and dropped at first base. So a mishandle there by Tyler Joe Colby, the Tars first base player. And UT gets their first 2 runners, first 2 batters aboard here to start the bottom of the first. And that will bring up the dangerous Mariah Galehouse, yes, today's starting pitcher. She is as lethal with the bat as she is lethal from the pitching circle, as she waits the first pitch from Ashley Warrell. It's on the way. Mariah Galehouse hitting .289 this season, 1 home run, 17 RBI, and has batted in 44 of UT's 45 games. As you see, the strike rung up there. So Galehouse now behind 0-2. Home plate umpire is Tyrone Miller. Steve Lewis currently between second and third, the other umpire, as that's going to be ball 1 to Galehouse. And licking her chops with Lily Keister over at first and Lauren Fanton on second. Warrell ready, rocks back, and Galehouse looks down at head coach Leslie Cantor. 2-2 the count. Warrell ready right away with this one, and there's a shot right through her legs and into center field. They're going to bring the runner around, and no play at the plate as sliding in safely is Lauren Fanton. And in the meantime, advancing all the way to third is Lily Keister, and Mariah Galehouse ends up at second. So the Spartans very active with the bats here to start this game, as they've taken a 1-0 lead and nobody out. So some early trouble here for the Rollins Tars and starting pitcher Ashley Warrell, as it only gets tougher with cleanup hitter Corinne Miner now in the batter's box and taking that pitch for ball 1. And the catcher Chelsea Peace wants to go out and calm down her pitcher a little bit. And Corinne Miner, she can do some damage with the bat. In 2022, Miner is hitting .320. That's 3 home runs, 29 RBI. Team leading 8 doubles. As you see, strike called against her. And now the 1-1. Miner takes ball 2. Two one on the way, swung on, and that one's going to go foul. 2-2 the count. 2 runners on. Galehouse at second base and Lily Keister at third. And UT already up 1-0 early on here. 2-2 from Warrell is smacked to right field and caught. And tagging up and coming home will be Lily Keister to make it 2-0. So the sac fly by Corinne Miner that's caught by Jaden Walker brings another run across the plate here in the bottom of the first. So that'll bring up Alexa Russo. First pitch to her, ball 1. Alexa Russo hitting .254, 3 home runs, 24 RBI, and the 1-0 on the way to her. And she'll take that one for ball 2. Alexa Russo, the Spartans' second base player, a freshman, went to Tampa Catholic and chops that one to short and over to first for out number 2. And so Galehouse is held at second base. And that'll bring up the catcher, Lexi Chevalier. Chevalier had a nice double to left field last night after Alexa Russo before her had done the exact same thing. And the Spartans would love to get another base hit from Lexi right now to try to bring Galehouse home and pad this lead. And the first pitch to Chevalier is strike 1. Strike 2 to Chevalier. Ashley Warrell hoping to get out of a tough bottom of the first here, down only 2, and that one's outside for ball 1. And the 1-2 now to Chevalier, swings, and that's going foul. Chevalier, another local product, although the Spartans only have 3 players on the team who are not from Florida. Doesn't necessarily mean they're all from right here in Tampa, but only 3 from outside the Sunshine State. Kylie Seaweck from Pennsylvania, Sam Weiberg from New Hampshire, and Alyssa Carfora from New Jersey. 2-2 now to Lexi Chevalier. And chopped foul. She stays alive. First base player Emily Jansen on deck, hoping to get an at-bat here in the bottom of the first. Warrell rocks back, and the next one is swung on and missed. Strike 3, and Chevalier a little confused. And Leslie Cantor soothing things over with her. But the inning comes to an end. Spartans 2 runs on 2 hits and no TARS errors and 1 runner left on base. So through 1 complete, UT in the lead 2-0. More softball on the way on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Back here to start the top of the second inning. And Galehouse with the first pitch to Tyler Joe Colby. As you saw, that one fouled back. Colby, the first base player for Rollins, and she's out just like that. And Galehouse with a strike on the first pitch to third base player Grace Germer. Germer hitting .391 this season. And strike two to her here in the top of the second. A .490 on base percentage for Grace Germer, a sophomore from Oviedo. Swings and misses, and just like that, 2 outs for Rollins already in the top of the second. And that'll bring up Jaden Walker, the right fielder. We saw her make the out on the Corinne Minor fly ball in the bottom of the first. And Galhouse's pitch to her is ball one. Jaden Walker, a sophomore from Palm Beach Gardens, over on the other side of the state, playing her college softball up in Winter Park, Florida, just a little over 2 hours north of here. As you see, strike one to her. Walker swinging and missing. So Walker 1-1 here, and swings and misses as Galehouse starting to find her groove. 2 strikeouts so far in the game. Her pitch count only at 20. And looks in for the signal. Gets the sign from Chevalier, throws, and swing and a miss. And just like that, down goes Jaden Walker as the third strikeout victim of the game already for Mariah Galehouse. So no runs, no hits, no Spartan errors, and no TARS runners left on base in the top of the second. Back with more softball here on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
A line out, a strikeout, and a strikeout for the TARS in the top of the second. And that brings up the Spartans in the bottom of the second, and specifically first base player Emily Jansen. First pitch to her, showing bunt, and that one's going to roll foul. Jansen legging that one out, but has to retreat all the way back to the batter's box. Steph Ballmer, who's on deck, handing the bat back to her. Jansen in 2022 has played in all 45 of the Spartans games, hitting 200, 6 RBI, and one of a great number of Spartans players with stolen bases this year, 3 for EJ. 10 players with one or more stolen bases for the Spartans in 2022. A team total of 34. As you see the conference taking place in the pitching circle. And the whole team, mind you. And the conference is over with at the prompting, I'm sure, of home plate umpire Tyrone Miller. And so ready to resume here. And the 0-1 coming to Emily Jansen. And that's going to be fouled off for strike 2. Warrell's 0-2 now to Emily Jansen. And bobbled. And so Jansen will go in standing up on the second Rollins error of the game. And just like the bottom of the first, Spartans get their first batter on base. And for the Tars, certainly troublesome to only be in the bottom of the second and already have committed 2 errors. Not to mention being behind 2-0. As you see, Steph Ballmer batting here against Warrell. So we're at the number 8 position in Leslie Cantor's batting order. And the 0-1, Ballmer showing bunt there. And she's behind in the count. A lot of interest in this game in more ways than one. At least 30 minutes before the game, the stands were probably already half full. And another good crowd here watching this game in person. The 0-2, and that's outside for ball 1. Appreciate you being with us here on the broadcast, the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network, on this Saturday afternoon. Final game of the regular season for both teams. And that one, ball 2. Ballmer, 2s are wild. She wears that jersey number. The count is 2-2. Her team's up 2-0. And I mentioned the Tars having committed their second error of the game. Swings at that one, and it's going to be fielded nicely, but not over to first in time. But a tip of the cap for sure. A nice attempt there by Ravian Bryant, the Tars' second base player. And sadly for her, nothing to show for her efforts, but a nice dirty uniform. And UT now with runners on first and second. And the number 9 hitter, Mackenzie Allen, to the plate. Foul ball there. Mackenzie Allen hitting .250 this season. And this is her 30th game of the year. And here comes the 0-1 to her, showing bunt and a foul. She is behind 0-2. Mackenzie Allen still searching for her first RBI of the season. It's come down to the last game. She'd love to get one today and add to this 2-0 UT lead. That's going to be ball 1 to her. Mackenzie Allen is one of the players that is from right here in Tampa. Played her high school ball at Wharton and chops that one to short, and Emily Jansen is out. Ran into the shortstop, Ashley Troutman. And we saw this exact same development last night with a runner colliding with the shortstop. And the same call was made last night. And so now 1 out for UT in the bottom of the second. And it puts us back at the top of the order with Lauren Fanton. And the 0-1 to her. Look out. Just barely missed. Hitting her about knee area. And so the count 1-1. Fanton, the left fielder, singled to lead off the game. And now the 1-1. Oh, that one did hit her. And so the bases will be loaded as Fanton gets hit by the pitch on the back. Tried to turn away from it to lessen the impact. And assistant coach Denise Rubio looking after her and signaling over to Leslie Cantor, wondering if there might be a need for a pinch runner. Everybody seems like they're holding their places, so presumably Fanton all right to stay in the game. And in the meantime, Lily Keister at the plate and chops that one, fielded at short, thrown home for out number 2. And so the bases remain loaded as Balmer is thrown out at the plate. A nice play there by the shortstop, Ashley Troutman. And that'll bring up Mariah Galehouse with the bases loaded, but 2 outs in the bottom of the second. Galehouse swings at the first pitch, foul down the third base line. Galehouse an RBI single in the first inning. And the 0-1 to her. Swung on to left field and caught out there by Lexi Moore for out number 3. So the Spartans, no runs on 1 hit. There was 1 Rollins error, and unfortunately, if you're a Spartans fan, 3 runners left on base. UT continues to lead 2-0. Back with more softball on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. And we're back and ready to start the top of the third inning. After some excitement for UT that didn't translate to anything on the scoreboard in the bottom of the second. As it's Taylor Waters batting here for Rollins to lead off the top of the third. The 0-1 to her. That's strike 2. Waters, the center fielder, her first at bat of the game. And that one goes foul. Taylor Waters hitting .216 this season. Has played in all 40 of the Tars games. 1 home run, 11 RBI, and a .269 on base percentage. The 0-2 to her, swung on, and that's going to be a base hit for Taylor Waters. And so she's aboard here in the top of the third. So Taylor Waters, as you see that one bounce off the top of the fence and out of play. Taylor Waters gets the second hit of the game for Rollins. She's over at first base. And the batter is left fielder Lexi Moore. Her first plate appearance of the game. And a bunt foul. Lexi Moore hitting .228 this season. She has played in 36 of the Tars games, has started 31. .228 batting average, .250 on base percentage, no home runs, 5 RBI, and the 0-2 goes ball 1 to her here in the top of the third. Galehouse delivers. That one's chopped to short, over to second, and they get the lead runner for out number 1. So that'll bring up Ashley Troutman. She's 0 for 1 in the game. And chops that one. Stepping on second, over to first, but off the bag. And so Troutman is safe at first. So again, they get the lead runner, but not able to get the double play. And so 2 down in the top of the third, which brings up Raven Bryant. Second base player, she's 0 for 1, ground out to short in the first inning, fouls that one off. And next pitch, swung on right back to Galehouse, and easily over to Jansen at first base for out number 3. So for the Tars, in the top of the third, no runs on 1 hit. There were no Spartans errors, and 1 runner left on base. We are through 2.5. Spartans lead at 2-0. Back with more on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
Back here at the Namoli Family Stadium, Corinne Miner leading it off for UT in the bottom of the third. And looks at the first pitch up high for ball 1. Ashley Warrell with a pitch count of 45 coming into this inning through just 2 innings. As you see, ball 2 there to Miner. Corinne had that fly out to right field in the first inning, and now is out here in the bottom of the third on that pop out that's caught in foul territory. So that brings up the second base player, Alexa Russo. Russo ground out to short in the first inning. And the first pitch to her is ball 1. fouled down the third base side. 1-1. Spartans 34-11 coming into today. Tars are 31-9. And now the 1-1, and Russo backs up just to make sure it doesn't hit her around the knee area, and so the count goes to 2-1. And Peace, the catcher, looking over at her dugout, and now gives the sign. Warrell delivers, and that one's in the dirt. Ball 3. And the 3-1 to Russo, swung on and fielded by Bryant, and over to first in plenty of time for out number 2. That'll bring up the UT catcher, Lexi Chevalier, who struck out in the first inning. Spartans ranked number 8 and looking to finish the regular season on a winning note. They've won 9 of their last 10. And Chevalier watches that one go by for strike 1. Pops that one up, out of play. Behind in the count now, 0-2. And some of the young spectators racing down the stairs, trying to get a souvenir. That foul ball exited the playing area. And now the 0-2 to Chevalier, and it's bounced in for ball 1. Swing and a miss, and Chevalier strikes out for the second time this afternoon. And just like that, UT is done in the bottom of the third. So they get no runs, no hits. There were no Tars errors and no Spartans runners left on base. Through 3 complete, UT continues to lead at 2-0. We'll be back with more on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
Back here to start the top of the 4th. Spartans leading it 2-0, and the catcher Chelsea Peace will lead things off for Rollins in the top of the 4th, meaning that we will see the 3, 4, and 5 hitters. Peace singled in her first at-bat back in the first inning, and swings and misses on the first pitch from Mariah Galehouse here in the top of the 4th. Galehouse very efficient, only 32 pitches thrown through the first 3 innings. And strike 2 now to Chelsea Peace, who looks a little frustrated. Facial expressions. And right away the 0-2 to her. And ball 1. That's one of those ones that you appreciate the difference in the vantage point Tyrone Miller, the home plate umpire, versus Bruce Wozniak up in the press box. As from here, that ball one looked like strike three. Count now 2-2. Chelsea Peace awaits the pitch. Here it comes, and she swings, and that one goes foul down the third base line. If you just joined us, the Spartans got both of their runs in the bottom of the first. And even if you didn't join us just now, they still got their 2 runs in the bottom of the first. Russo, Jansen, routine, ground out, and Peace has retired. So that'll bring up Ashley Warrell, the Tars pitcher. She struck out in the first inning. And chops that one to Balmer at short, over to Jansen at first. And just like that, 2 down for Rollins in the top of the 4th. So we'll move to the number 5 hitter, Tyler Joe Colby, the Rollins first base player. She lined out to third in the second inning. Swings at that one, and Balmer over to Jansen, and just like that, the Tars go 1, 2, 3 in the top of the 4th. No runs, no hits, no Spartan errors, and no Tars base runners left. We are halfway through. Spartans lead at 2-0. More on the way on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Emily Jansen has been busy defensively for UT, and she is now coming into the batter's box to hit, leading off the bottom of the 4th for UT. She reached on an error back in the second inning. And the 58th pitch on the way from Ashley Warrell is skied to right field and caught out there by Jaden Walker. Down goes Jansen in the bottom of the 4th. And that'll bring up Steph Balmer. We saw her active defensively in the top half of this inning. Spartan shortstop singled in the second inning, and that one to third, over to first in time, and Balmer is out, which moves us to the number 9 hitter, Mackenzie Allen. Allen hit into a fielder's choice in the second inning. And Warrell's first pitch to her here in the 4th, strike one. And chops that one to Bryant over to first. And the Spartans are retired just as quickly as the Tars were in the top of the top of the 4th. No runs, no hits, no Rollins errors, and no Spartans runners left on base. Through 4 complete, UT in the lead 2-0 And more on the way here on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.
College sports.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
A return to normal, and all we love about sports.
You've instilled resilience, focus, and selflessness in us. We've put those lessons to work.
We've found strength and unity in each other.
You continue to take us places we never imagined.
You bring out the best in us.
So when we look forward, we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We see a better world for all of us and for college sports.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby. Inside the 30. Touchdown. Michaela Burgess.
An incredible finish by Hall. The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org/opportunity.
Back here at the Nemoli Family Stadium, I'm Bruce Wozniak. Tampa Spartans taking on the Rollins Tars on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. 85 degrees here on the campus of the University of Tampa. And the batter is third base player Grace Germer, and drops down a bunt that Galehouse fields, and Russo comes over to cover at first. And so Germer is retired as out number one here in the top of the fifth. Some nice play defensively there, as you saw Jansen break for home, and thus Russo covering for her defensively at first base. And the pitch to Jaden Walker, ball one. Jaden Walker, the right fielder, struck out in the second inning. The number 7 hitter, and watches that one go up high for ball two. Galehouse delivers, and Walker sees that one go by. Strike one. Galehouse with the sign from Chevalier, and that one's chopped to Minor at third, and over to first to Emily Jansen, and that'll be the second out for Rollins here in the top of the fifth, and it'll bring up Taylor Waters, the Rollins center fielder who singled in her only plate appearance so far, that being in the third inning. First pitch to her here in the fifth is center right field, and caught very easily by Mackenzie Allen for out number 3. So a fast-moving game here now as the Tars get no runs on no hits. There were no Spartans errors and no Rollins runners left on base. We'll be back with the bottom of the fifth on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
All set to start the bottom of the fifth inning as the Spartans are at the top of the order with left fielder Lauren Fanton. Starts off the bottom of the fifth with ball one. Fanton singled to start off the game and then was hit by a pitch in the second. And bats now here in the bottom of the 5th. Next pitch from Warrell. And it's going to be ball 2 to Lauren. Fanton from up in the northeast of Florida, DeLand specifically. And sends that one for another base hit as it falls into left field. And so Fanton is aboard to start off the bottom of the 5th with her second single of the game. And that'll bring up Lily Keister, the Spartans center fielder. Sacrifice in the first inning and then hit into a fielder's choice in the second. And Keister showing bunt on the first pitch as Fanton hustles back to first. Chelsea Peace, the catcher, took a quick look down there to see if there was an opportunity to catch Fanton off base and thought otherwise. And so now instead Ashley Warrell ready with the 0-1 and another bunt attempt by Lily Keister unsuccessful. And so 0-2 now here to Lily Keister. Her team has been leading 2-0 since the bottom of the 1st, and things have gone quiet ever since. And now the 0-2 and does not show bunt. Watches that one sail way up high for ball 1. And so Keister battling here against Ashley Warrell and has Mariah Galhouse on deck. The 1-2, Keister chops that one foul. Galhouse right there to lend a helping hand. Ashley Warrell, yikes, up to 68 pitches and nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th. There's one that will be out number 1 and no attempt, no opportunity at second base as Fanton now in scoring position. Keister is out number 1 here in the bottom of the 5th, and so Mariah Galhouse, the Spartans pitcher, she singled back in the first inning and drove in a run and then lined out to third in the second inning. And Galhouse, ball 1 here in the bottom of the 5th. And again, a big game for both teams. I'll wait for this next pitch and then tell you what's on the line. And here comes the 1-0 to Galhouse, swing and a miss as it goes foul, 1-1. Whoever wins this game will be the co-regular season Sunshine State Conference champion with Nova Southeastern. So both of these teams absolutely with something to play for here in this final regular season game. A 1-1, and that's high and outside for ball 2. Galhouse waiting for the 2-1. Corinne Miner on deck. And Warrell delivers, chopped, and that'll be fielded at short. And look out, sails nowhere near the first base player. And so Galhouse ends up at second, and Fanton comes all the way around. And so the Spartans will take a 3-0 lead as Rollins head coach Christine Roser-LaFavors goes out and asks for an explanation from home plate umpire Tyrone Miller. And points to Galhouse being at second and points to maybe where the error was committed from, meaning the shortstop, Ashley Troutman, with the throw that was nowhere near, unfortunately, if you're a Tars fan, Rollins first base player Tyler Joe Colby. So up 3-0 now. Corinne Miner at the plate for UT and sends that one foul down the third base line. Miner flew out to right field in the first and then popped out to foul territory on the first base side in the third inning. And here's the 0-1 to her, and in the dirt. And Chelsea Peace jumping on that one right away, making sure it doesn't get away from her. What with UT already having a runner in scoring position, Mariah Galehouse on second base, ensuring that she doesn't get to third. And now the 1-1 to Minor. And look out. That one was a little too close to her body. 2-1 now. Next pitch, and Minor fouls it over towards her own dugout. And well documented is the danger that Minor can cause with the bat, as she awaits the 2-2 with just one out and a runner on second. Chops that one to short and over to first. And let's see what the call is here, because there appeared to be a minor, pardon the pun, a minor collision interference, as Galehouse and Ashley Troutman had enough of a quote-unquote collision for the umpires to decide that that was the out, and so Minor is aboard at first base as Alexa Russo swings and misses. So for the third time in less than 24 hours, we see that occur, meaning the interference on the base paths going from second to third, and the umpires being consistent, calling it an out every time on the base runner. 2 outs in the bottom of the bottom of the fifth. The Spartans have scored again. It's 3-0, and now the inning officially ends as Russo goes down as the third strikeout victim of the game for Rollins pitcher Ashley Warrell. 1 run on 2 hits. There was 1 TARS error and 1 runner left on base. Through 5 complete, UT now in the lead 3-0. Back with more on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. And just as we went to break, the horn sounded for a lightning alert, and so this means that the game will be delayed as the spectators are being asked to leave the seating area, the teams taking shelter, so to speak, and this results in a delay of at least 30 minutes. So unofficially, I'm going to say 3:26 Eastern Time, as the Spartans hold the lead 3-0 through 5, and we'll be back with the continuation in at least 30 minutes here on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.
This is the University of Tampa. UT students travel from across the nation and around the globe to join a dynamic learning community. There are 150 academic programs, continuing studies for non-traditional students, and
All right, we're back and ready to resume play here between the Spartans and the Rollins Tars. UT in the lead 3-0 following that long delay due to rain and lightning. And all's clear now. As you can see, they had put the tarp down over the field if you were watching any of the broadcast during that delay. And so the field conditions are fine. And play resumes now with a pitch from Mariah Galehouse that is strike one to Rollins left fielder Lexi Moore. And the 0-1 is fouled off. So 0-2 here in the top of the 6th inning. Spartans up 3-0. Final regular season game for both of these teams. And now Galehouse with the 0-2. Swung on and missed. And down goes Moore for out number 1 in the top of the 6th inning. And that'll bring us back to the top of the order as Ashley Troutman, the shortstop for Rollins, steps into the batter's box. She ground out to second back in the 1st inning and then hit into a fielder's choice in the 3rd and swings the bat at the first pitch that she sees in the 6th and flies out on a nice catch made there by Mackenzie Allen. So 2 away in the top of the 6th. And we'll see Raven Bryant. She's been busy defensively for the visitors this afternoon. The second base player, she's 0 for 2. Ground outs in the 1st and 3rd. And here she is in the top of the 6th. And swings and misses on the first pitch from Galehouse. That is pitch number 51 for Mariah here in this game. And that one's outside for ball 1. The 1-1 and chopped to Corinne Miner at 3rd and over to Jansen in plenty of time for out number 3. So the Tars go 3 up and 3 down in the top of the 6th. No runs and no hits. There were no Spartan errors and no Rollins runners left on base. Back with the bottom of the 6th after this on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.
This is the University of Tampa. UT students travel from across the nation and around the globe to join a dynamic learning community. There are 150 academic programs, continuing studies for non-traditional students, and a highly ranked graduate school. Academic opportunities are extensive and rigorous, but this mid-sized residential campus retains a welcoming feel. With a student-faculty ratio of 16:1, students benefit from direct interaction with expert faculty, a faculty that is passionate about teaching and mentoring. Outside the classroom, UT enjoys a unique environment. Plant Hall, a National Historic Landmark, is surrounded by modern and historic buildings on 105 acres. UT's
And starting at the bottom of the 6th, a change for Rollins as Emily McMullen takes over pitching. Ashley Warrell, we believe, unofficially we believe, has left with some sort of injury. We were watching her just before we came back on the air, and she was down in the bullpen area. And there's Chevalier. It's going to be a ground out, 6-3. And that's out number 1 for the Spartans in the bottom of the 6th. Warrell couldn't really tell the nature of the injury, the extent of it, but obviously enough that she's not able to resume here. And so it's Emily McMullen. And now facing Emily Jansen. Jansen reached on an error in the 2nd and then flew out to right in the 4th inning. Batting now in the bottom of the 6th and chopped to short and over to first, and they do get the out. As you saw, Tyler Joe Colby go to the ground, but kept the foot on the bag, and so Jansen is retired. And that brings up the number 8 hitter, Steph Ballmer. 1 for 2 in this game with a single back in the second inning. And then a ground out to third in the fourth. Fouls that one off. 0-1. Spartans lead at 3-0. 5 hits in the game so far. The Rollins Tars just 2 hits to this point. As the count goes to 1-1 to Steph Ballmer. Next pitch on the way from Emily McMullen, and it's outside for ball 2. McMullen, we saw a pitch in game 2 last night, which the Spartans took 6-2, and there's a bunt that goes foul for Ballmer. Emily McMullen, a freshman, 5'6", and the 2-2 now. Ballmer fouls that one back, staying alive in the bottom of the 6th. 2 outs for her team here. They scored 2 runs way back in the bottom of the 1st, and then added 1 more on in the bottom of the 5th. That half inning ended, and we had the long weather delay as there's a shot to left field that's caught for out number 3 by Lexi Moore. And so the Spartans, no runs, no hits, no Rollins errors, and no UT runners left on base. We're through 6 complete. Spartans will try to wrap it up in the top of the 7th when we come back on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.
College sports.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
A return to normal, and all we love about sports.
You've instilled resilience, focus, and selflessness in us. We've put those lessons to work.
We've found strength and unity in each other.
You continue to take us places we never imagined.
You bring out the best in us.
So when we look forward, we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We see a better world for all of us and for college sports.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby. Inside the 30. Touchdown. Michaela Burgess.
An incredible finish by Hall. The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn.
Top of the 7th and the final chance for Rollins as the catcher Chelsea Peace leads off and pops out promptly to Alexa Russo for out number 1. Tars with their backs to the wall here as Sarah Young comes to the plate and hitting in the number 4 position. This part of the change made with Ashley Warrell leaving the game and Emily McMullen taking over in the circle. And so batting-wise, Sarah Young now the designated player and swings, and that one goes foul. She is behind 0-2 in the count. Sarah Young, a freshman from just across the bridge in St. Petersburg, 5'11". Young in the number 4 slot, 0-2 to her, and chops it foul on the first base side. Waiting on deck, her teammate Tyler Joe Colby, the first base player for the Tars, as they need to find some offense fast. The 0-2, that's outside for ball 1. The 1-2, and just outside enough for ball 2. See Young with that brace on her left leg And back in the batter's box, ready for the next pitch. 2-2 on the way, swung on and fouled way down the left field line and outside the stadium as it's bouncing way over beyond the cars. And here comes the 2-2 again, and that one also fouled down the left field line, this time staying inside the ballpark. Our temperature at 84 degrees now as Galehouse ready with another 2-2 offering, and again fouled. As Sarah Young battling here, trying to do something to keep her Rollins Tars alive in this regular season finale. Galehouse gets the sign from Chevalier, delivers, and one more foul ball just for good measure. Another 2-2 from Galehouse, and another foul down the left field line. Sarah Young getting her money's worth in this opportunity to get an at-bat. Galehouse ready, and that one is chopped foul. Chevalier relays it to her pitcher, a battery that we've seen a number of times throughout the season. And swing and a miss. Down goes Sarah Young, and that'll be strikeout number 5 of the game for Mariah Galehouse. And the Tars down to their last out, as first base player Tyler Jo Colby comes to the plate. She is 0-2, 0 for 2 in the game and 0-1 in the count, and sends that one foul, and the ball finally lands outside behind the Rollins dugout. So 0-2 now. And Galehouse gets her to strike out to end the game. The Spartans win it 3-0, and they will finish as the co-regular season Sunshine State Conference champion, along with Nova Southeastern. No runs, no hits, no Spartan errors, no Tars runners left on base there in the top of the 7th. The final line score: no runs, 2 hits, 3 errors for Rollins, 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors for UT. Mariah Galehouse, the winning pitcher, a complete game 2-hitter for the victory, and the Spartans have now won 10 of their last 11. They win 2 of the 3 games in this season-ending series against Rollins. And despite the weather delay, a memorable afternoon on a number of accounts here, and for probably half the crowd going home happy. Rollins traveled well, brought a lot of fans with them, and they unfortunately will go back to Winter Park or their respective homes disappointed as their team loses 2 of 3 here in West Central Florida. As the 2022 regular season concludes, the Spartans finish with a final 1-loss record of 35-11, and Rollins now hits double digits in losses as they fall to 31-10. And the Spartans today, a 2-for-2 performance at the plate from Lauren Fanton. And the losing pitcher for Rollins was Ashley Warrell, who pitched 5 innings and gave up 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned. She struck out 3. 81 was her pitch count. Mariah Galehouse, 7 complete innings, only threw 69 pitches, and as I mentioned, finished with 6 strikeouts. And so Galehouse, the winning pitcher, the Spartans Congratulations on finishing as the co-regular season SSC champion alongside Nova Southeastern. We encourage you to stick with TampaSpartans.com to watch for postseason information, opponent, schedule, location, all the details. TampaSpartans.com is where you'll want to look for all of those details. I'm Bruce Wozniak, thanking you for watching here on this Saturday afternoon. This has been Tampa Spartans Softball on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.